How to make better life decisions. For my entire life, I felt like I've always been making the wrong decision and literally have no idea if whether or not anything I do is the right move. So I did a lot of research and spent a lot of time by myself to figure out how I can start making better decisions. And in this video, I want to share 5 powerful strategies I've learned that will help you make the best decisions so you can confidently decide what's best for you. So let's get into it. Number 1 is values. Values are everything. If we don't know what we value, how are we ever going to make a good, solid decision? We need to define what our values are and what is most important to us in our own life. Then after we've done that, making decisions can become so much easier, because then the only question we need to ask ourselves is, does this decision line up with my value? If it does, great, let's do it. But if it doesn't, then no matter how good the opportunity looks, no matter how many people are telling you that it's the best thing to do, we're not going to do it. And this is important because if we're not living based on our own values and you start saying yes to the things that don't feel right, at some point you'll look at yourself in the mirror and you won't even recognize yourself. You'll think to yourself, what the heck am I doing with my life? Because you've been shaping your life around to what other people want, when deep down, it doesn't sit well with you. So that's one way to help us make a decision. Number 2 is the 8-year-old and the 80-year-old self. This is another strategy I love, which is to ask yourself 2 simple questions. The first one being, what would my 8-year-old self think of this decision? The second question is, what would my 80-year-old self say? So our 8-year-old self represents our purest self before the world told us who to be. They were curious, excited, and full of dreams. Would our 8-year-old self be proud of the path you're taking now? Would they think it's fun, meaningful, or exciting? On the other hand, our 80-year-old self is the wiser version of us. They've lived the full life and seen how everything plays out. Would they look back and say, I'm glad you did that? Or would they regret not taking that chance? If both versions of you are smiling and give you the green light, then it's probably a good decision. If either one has doubts, it's probably worth thinking about more deeply. So when we're stuck, checking with both can help us choose a path that's true to who we are. Both the kid who dreamed and the elder who knows what really matters in life. Number 3 is goal alignment. This strategy focuses on the type of life we want to live based on our goals. So the first step is to get clear on the type of life we want to live, whether that be working remotely so we can travel and make money at the same time, or make just enough so that we can pursue a side project. Whatever it is, then from here we can make intentional choices with our finances and time so that they align with achieving the life we desire. So again, with working remotely, we might decide to spend more time and money learning an online skill that allows us to work remotely and live that type of life. Number 4 is type 1 and type 2 decisions. This is something I learned from a Diary of a CEO podcast, and it's that there are 2 types of decisions. The first being the irreversible type. These are your big life decisions that can be your life altering. Once you make these decisions, it's hard to take them back. For example, becoming a parent or buying a house. These are the ones you're going to be thinking about a lot more and taking more consideration on. The second type is the reversible type. These are flexible, experimental, and often low risk. Things like starting a new hobby, switching careers, or moving to a new city. These are choices that we can test, tweak, and change our minds about. The trap that most of us get in is that we treat type 2 like they're type 1 decisions. But the truth is, we overthink them and forget that we can try something and realize it's not for us. We can take a step and pivot later. We can quit the job, take the class, start the project, and still turn around if it doesn't feel right. And once we understand that, we free ourselves from the pressure of getting everything right on the first try. We give ourselves permission to explore, to play, and to learn as we go. Number 5 is your energy. I used to think that our most important resource was our time and money because we can't buy our time back. But in actuality, it's our energy. Because if there's something we're doing throughout the day that's absolutely draining our energy, our life starts to feel dull. Then there's no point in saving our time or money. There are certain habits and decisions that give and take away from our energy. For example, my energy gets drained from doom scrolling on my phone, being around negative or draining people, and doing work that feels pointless. Whereas habits that give me energy could be going to the gym, attending networking events, and getting good sleep. So a question we can ask ourselves is this decision going to drain my energy or give me energy? And that way, our most important resource is protected and we can make better decisions through this. This is all information I personally would have loved to hear in my younger self who didn't have any guidance in life. If you found value out of this, consider liking and subscribing. I make videos about my own self-discovery journey, life tips, and help young people find direction in life. If you feel behind in life, maybe this video here will help. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.